lift your light, and you will lift others and the world along with you. I'm Mary Ellen Hunt, Director of Enrollment Management at the Jewish Community High School of the Bay, a place that I've called home for more than 17 years. Ordinarily, I'd be welcoming you to this home. We would all be gathered here in the JCHS Performing Arts Theater. But this is not an ordinary year. These are extraordinary times, times in which we face out of the ordinary challenges, uncertainties, anxieties, in which we are all striving that much harder to connect with each other. Those words, lift your light, were part of a charge that Rabbi Howard Jacoby Rubin gave to our graduating seniors in June. Like so many people, we experienced a year like no other. But even with all that was transpiring around us, Rabbi Rubin encouraged graduates with these words: how we lift ourselves and others toward the light and hope and joy depends not on what we can hold. It depends on our resilience in facing the dark, our courage in looking forward with hope, and our delight in sharing with others. We are so glad that you've joined us today to find out more about JCHS, because it is truly an extraordinary place. On the surface, JCHS shares many of the same benefits as top independent schools: experienced educators, a 5-to-1 student-teacher ratio, small classes, our average class size is 12, an individualized approach to learning, and a challenging college prep curriculum. Our school offers not just an environment in which students can follow their passions, challenge themselves academically, try, fail, succeed, learn. It is also a warm and balanced environment in which every individual is seen and respected for the things that make them unique. Our primary difference is that this is also a Jewish education, one that reflects a wide variety of Jewish expressions and culture. This is an education that encourages you to explore and to question, to engage with ethical dilemmas, and to begin to forge your values and identity as Jews and as global citizens. At JCHS, it's not just about learning facts and figures. We want our students to go deeper, to really engage meaningfully with the subjects that they study, whether that's chemistry or history, Tanakh or Spanish, robotics or studio art. We want you to be unafraid to ask questions, big questions. What consequences do an individual's actions have on the environment? Do personal choices matter? What is the nature of evil? What does it mean to live a quality life? We want to help you learn how to create meaning and learn how to create community, skills that will serve you throughout the rest of your life. JCHS students seek out many perspectives, and we ask them to hone their ability to engage respectfully in meaningful conversations and to appreciate nuance. These are essentials for anyone facing the complexity of life in the 21st century. We hope that every student graduates after 4 years at JCHS knowing that as individual as your own beliefs may be, you are joined together by a community that sees you for who you are and cherishes you for who you will become. How we lift ourselves and others toward the light and hope and joy depends not on what we can hold. It depends on our resilience in facing the dark, our courage in looking forward with hope, and our delight in sharing with others. As I said at the beginning, like so many of our students, educators, and community members, I've come to feel like this is a second home. But as much as I love this place, JCHS is so much more than just a building. It's the community, the people that make this place so special. Now, let's hear from our community. I'm going to turn things over to our Director of Admissions, Leslie Tickton, and she's going to guide you on today's journey. I hope that you will start to see what makes JCHS so unique, an extraordinary education for extraordinary times.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. I'm Leslie Tickton, Director of Admissions. I'm also the proud parent of an alum and a current JCHS senior. I'm also the proud aunt of 4 JCHS alumni. I love this school and I love sharing it with others. We're so glad you're here with us today. We have a great program for you filled with information all about JCHS. So for the next 45 minutes or so, I'll be your MC. You're going to hear from teachers, from students, from our extraordinary head of school, Rabbi Rubin. And then at the end, you'll have the opportunity to visit some breakout rooms, which we'll tell you about in a bit. But first, let's head over to our beautiful art studio where you will meet Jen Sturgill.
Thanks, Leslie. I'm Jen Sturgill. I'm the chair of the Visual and Performing Arts here at JCHS. The Visual and Performing Arts offer students here the opportunity to explore artistic creation and process in a wide range of artistic mediums, from drama, music, film, photography, sculpture, and the various studio arts. Our students learn to think critically and analytically towards artistic choices and motivations throughout the creative process. We study contemporary, historical, and cross-cultural approaches within each medium as a means of creating context for the role of art in our world. The visual and performing arts are incorporated into all aspects of the JCHS experience, from collaboration in the performing arts to visual art showcases and display, including site-specific works and installations, and collaborations across disciplines. Our goal is to have students integrate their artistic awareness into all aspects of their life, learning, and community. Students take 1 consecutive year in the arts for their graduation requirement, but after this, have a wide variety of art electives they can choose from, several which follow a path to AP Studio Art. If you have any questions about the visual and performing arts, please join us in the Zoom breakout room later today. Now let's go upstairs where Leslie will introduce us to the Judaic Studies Department.
Thanks, Jen. It's so great to see some of our colleagues together here at school, even though we're social distancing. We're upstairs now, and we're going to head into the library, Beit Midrash, where you're going to hear from Tamar Rabinowitz, who's going to talk to you about JS and Hebrew.
Thanks, Leslie. Welcome to the Jewish Studies Department. My name is Tamar Rabinowitz, and I'm Dean of Jewish Studies and Hebrew. I've been teaching Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, for the past 19 years, 11 of which have been here at JCHS. I'm in San Francisco via South Africa, Israel, New Zealand, and DC. Once this presentation is over, I hope you'll remember these 3 statements about the Jewish Studies program. 1, in Jewish Studies, we deal with issues of ultimate concern, matters that are of deep human significance and are critically important, like what is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? Why am I here? In the Jewish Studies Department, we value pluralism, and we make pluralism real as we guide our students as they develop their authentic personal identity, whatever it may be. We believe that we learn more about ourselves, our Jewish practices, and our values when we engage with others who think and practice differently. And as Jewish Studies faculty, we support our students as they engage in those conversations. And 3, in Jewish Studies, we teach our students how to ask difficult questions, how to listen, support, and challenge each other and our texts. The very mode in which we learn teaches our students that they are not only responsible for their own learning, but also to others and to listening to their peers in the text. So let's focus on your experience in 9th grade. You have just walked into your first Jewish Studies class of 9th grade. You're unsure what this class is going to ask of you. Some of you have never taken a formal Jewish Studies class. Some of you have taken 8 years. Some of you have no Hebrew, some of you have a bit, and some of you are fluent. We'll make sure that you're in the right class, taking into account your experience with Jewish text and your Hebrew language abilities. In your class, you'll be learning how to read the Torah, the Hebrew Bible. What does that even mean, reading the Bible? The Bible is our foundational text. You will learn the skills necessary to navigate this complex text. You will also be producing your own understandings and interpretations. And one way you'll do that is through game design. One of your projects in 9th grade will integrate game design skills to create your own card game that explores characters and themes you have studied. So imagine apples to apples, Ku, Hanabi, but with biblical text. At the end of your design process, your peers, faculty, and guests will actually play your game and learn about the Bible while doing so, because you've done such a great job designing a game that is not only fun, but also educational. The students in my class created card games around the character of Yitzchak, Isaac. One of the reasons game design was so effective was it forced the designer to sift through all the text related to this character and the commentary in order to create a robust game. Then they had to think of ways to have their peers interact with all the material in a way that would not only have them learn, but also grow the player's understanding of the character. In your subsequent years, you will take a rabbinics class in 10th grade, where we'll explore questions related to the development of a personal and moral identity. In 11th grade, you'll have an opportunity to learn more about your history in your Jewish history course. And in 12th grade, you'll experience a transformative year taking Jewish thought, dealing with questions such as, what is God? What is Judaism's response to evil? And what is the soul? We also have a range of electives, and depending on your passion and interest, you can do a deep dive in history by taking history of the Shoah, for example, or text and take advanced Talmud, or culture and take a class on Jews in the media. The skills you learn in our classes, you can apply to other areas in your life. But most importantly, our classes will help you learn more about who you are and who you want to be. Jewish Studies is not an add-on. It is central to JCHS, central to academic growth, central to your identity, and central to giving you the skills to navigate yourselves in an increasingly complex world. If you have any questions for our department, please join us in the breakout room later. And now let's head down the hallway to humanities.
Thanks, Tamar. Our Jewish Studies classes are so engaging. Fun fact, my niece a few years back was in a class, Jews in the Modern World, and she and another classmate were doing a family tree assignment, and they realized they were distant cousins. So now we're going to head into the humanities office, and you're going to hear from Dr. Rosella and Leslie.
Hello, welcome to the Humanities Department. I'm Rosella Leslie. I'm Dean of the Humanities here at JCHS. And in our time here today, I hope to show you why we believe the study of humanities at JCHS is so compelling. In order to do that, I'm going to describe to you a few projects that we do in our English and history classes so that you can see how we foster both intellectual and emotional growth of our students. Congratulations on now being a freshman at JCHS. You've memorized your locker combination, you've learned the names of your new peers, and you finally figured out how to navigate the hallways. In your 9th grade history class, The Past and the Present, you've been assigned the famous Artifact Project. This project is in collaboration with Everlab, which you will hear more about later, and it helps you learn to navigate the subscription database art store. Perhaps you find an incense burner from Judea that dates back to the time of the destruction of the Second Temple, and now you must recreate it. After your hard work to both make this artifact and write a 2-page paper about it, you and your classmates bring your artifacts to class where you will act as a specialist archaeologist, working to understand what the artifact reveals about the civilization that created it. In your 9th grade English class, you take a scene from a Shakespeare play you've just finished. Let's say this year it's Midsummer Night's Dream, and you displace it. That means that you set it in Woodstock, or perhaps a 1920s speakeasy, or maybe a high school homecoming dance. And then, through keeping the dialogue the same, you illustrate that Shakespeare's themes continue to resonate in contemporary contexts. Welcome to 10th grade. Now you've really hit your stride at JCHS. You're engaged in our new American Studies year, which allows you to take both American literature and U.S. history. In your U.S. history class, Mr. Pollack asks you to analyze an iconic American photo. You've heard before that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and now your teacher tells you that you have 1,000 words to write about a picture. You've made it to junior year. In your 11th grade English class, you write a research paper in the fall on Frankenstein and modern science. After reading Mary Shelley's masterpiece, you work with librarian Miss Gluck and further develop your database research skills in order to write a 3-page paper arguing that Mary Shelley predicted the debate around CRISPR and gene editing that scientists are having today. We believe that one special element of our program here is our emphasis on collaboration in the revision process. So I'd like to share a quote from 2018 graduate Shana Dollinger. Shana writes, "The opportunities you gave us to revise our work have taught me what it means to think critically about my work and to keep improving until it's the best it can possibly be. Congratulations, you are now a senior. In 12th grade AP Literature, you're sweating through Shakespeare's sonnets. Then your teacher presents the class with works from the contemporary poet Terence Hayes, who uses the sonnet form to comment on Black life in America. Now you get it. Since you're a senior, you have extra room in your schedule to take humanities electives. But how do you choose? Well, you've always loved museums and you love history, so you decide to take AP Art History in 12th grade as well. Ms. Sturgill isn't one of those teachers that makes you sit for hours and answer free response questions. She actually takes you to museums in San Francisco so you can see the art and see how it's curated for the public. All of these amazing classes and teachers have you so inspired by art and writing that you submit, for the first time in your 4 years, an original poet that you worked on with Ms. Rubin to the JCHS student-run literary magazine, The Howl. We are, after all, the JCHS Wolves. And speaking of wolves, I hear you're about to meet one of our wolf super fans in the science lab.
Thanks, Rosellen. Yep, Cecily's one of our biggest super fans. These teachers at JCHS, they show up. They're at the athletic events. They're at the theater performances. They come to Coffee House, which is like our talent show every year. They want to be there and support our students. I know as a parent, the teachers want the kids to learn. They care more about that than their good grades. They want them to get the good grades, but they want them to learn the material. So they'll meet with them during study hall. They'll meet with them during lunch. They continue to build relationships so that the students feel connections. I so love being a part of this community. So next up, yes, you're meeting Dr. Cecily Burrell, and she's next door in the other science lab.
Thanks, Leslie. I'm Dr. Cecily Burrell. I'm the Dean of Math and Science here at JCHS of the Bay. Welcome to one of our wonderful science labs. I'm so excited to tell you today about our Math and Science program here at JCHS. I am so thrilled to lead a team of 9 amazing math and science educators here at the school. In our department, we've really embraced a model of inquiry-driven learning. What that means is we want students behaving like mathematicians and scientists in the classroom every day. They are making mental models to explain phenomenon that they observe in the world around them. Then they use those mental models to make predictions and test those predictions by designing experiments. During the experiments, they make observations, and they use those observations either to support their model or to refine their model and make a new model which will make new predictions which they can then test in further experiments. This enables students to really engage in the practice of math and science in class every day. You may notice that our math and science curriculum at JCHS of the Bay starts with 9th grade physics, it moves on to 10th grade chemistry, and 11th grade biology. This is a little bit different than what you may see in some other high schools. Physics First is an educational movement that has been around for 10 or 15 years now. And there are a couple of reasons why we believe this is the best approach. The first is that it makes, and this is revealing my hidden bias as a biology and chemistry teacher, it makes those classes so much richer. Modern molecular biology is based on a fundamental understanding of the chemistry of the molecules that are active in cells. Now you can accomplish this by taking a few weeks out at the beginning of biology class and teaching the chemistry that students absolutely have to know to understand biology. However, it is so much richer if they come into that experience with a full year of chemistry under their belt. In biology, we start with biochemistry to talk about photosynthesis and cellular respiration. And if you know anything about those topics, you can imagine how much richer it is when students have a complex understanding already of concentration gradients, of pH, of oxidation and reduction, of polarity and solubility, and so on. It just makes the experience so much more meaningful. Similarly, in chemistry, you could teach the physics that students absolutely need at the beginning of the year if you had to, but it's so much richer when they come in with a full year of physics and they already have a fundamental understanding of light, of electricity and magnetism, of energy transfer and conservation. So it really just makes chemistry and then biology so much better. The other reason that we like the Physics First sequence is that it takes advantage of the development in adolescent brain capacity for abstraction over the course of the high school years. The experiments that we do in physics class are very concrete. If you want to describe a collision, you can actually run two cars into each other and measure the results. In chemistry, we move on to more abstract ideas like atoms and molecules, but the properties of those atoms and molecules result in more concrete and observable macroscopic properties like mass or volume that the students can, again, observe directly. And when we move on to biology in 11th grade, we often talk about things like cells that are too small to observe directly, or ecosystems which are too large to observe directly. And so students have to create a variety of more complex mental models to explain those phenomena, and that level of abstraction is more compatible with an 11th grade brain. I know the 8th graders who are watching this are already incredibly brilliant, but you have no idea how much more brilliant you're going to get over the next few years in high school. When you look at our scope and sequence in math, it looks a little bit more traditional. Students can start wherever they're ready, and we go Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus. We offer 2 different levels of calculus, and we also offer statistics as an available elective for students anytime after completion of Algebra 2. And while the sequence is traditional, the way we run math class every day is less traditional. It's really inspired by the work of Joe Bowler, who is an education professor at Stanford. If your math education was anything like my math education, the teacher would do a problem using the day's technique, perhaps the quadratic formula, on the board. Students would then practice perhaps 10 more problems using the same technique with the numbers of the problems changed out. Then you would go home and do 10 more of those problems for homework. And you always knew that that day you had to use the quadratic formula because that was what you were doing that day. Now, any engineer will tell you that often the most challenging part of tackling a new problem is figuring out what tool, what formula, what approach you should use to solve the problem. And in an approach like that traditional math classroom I just described, students never get to practice choosing the right tool. To that end, we really try to engage students in that process of choosing from all of the tools available in their arsenal to figure out how to tackle a problem. And we offer them a lot of what we call low floor, high ceiling problems. These are problems that are accessible from multiple angles, can be solved using multiple approaches, and are often very amenable to students collaborating and working together. So that tells you a little bit about how math class works every day. After students have completed their core science and math requirements, we offer a tremendous number of electives available to students. We offer a variety of AP lab science classes, biology, chemistry, environmental science, and AP physics. We also have a really rich computer science program available. There's a 9th grade class called Foundations of Computer Science. We offer a hands-on robotics and engineering class, and we offer 2 levels of AP computer science. All of these programs are incredible opportunities, and we hope that you will be able to experience some of them at JCHS in the future. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you all in the Zoom breakout room later on.
Thanks, Cecily. So at JCHS, it's part of our value to celebrate the process, not just the product. So that brings me to thank a few people today before we hear about the EverLab. There's a lot of people who have made this open house event possible today, and I want to thank our tech crew, Joe McDonald and Brandon Davis. They're awesome guys, and they've helped to make these presentations smooth and sounds clear and videos shots clear, and most importantly, calming our nerves. Our admissions team has been very busy behind the scenes, and I'm so grateful to work with Masha Kuznetsova and Mary Ellen Hunt, and I really hope that you get the chance to meet with all of us in person soon. I also want to thank our department heads who are always happy to share about their work at JCHS. And thank you to our students and to our teachers who you're going to meet in just a little while at the end of the hour in our breakout rooms. So now let's hear about the EverLab.
Thanks, Leslie. I'm Robin Gluck, and I'm here with my colleague Evan Wolkenstein to tell you about 2 of JCHS's unique signature programs, Journeys and the EverLab. These special experiences are designed to help you to discover what is unique about you through the exploration of new ideas, new places, and new people.
To start with, I'd love to talk about the difference between a journey and a vacation. A vacation is about being transported to a new place, a nice break to return back to real life. But a journey leaves you transformed. You grow and you see the world and yourself in a new way. Well, JCHS journeys are all about that kind of growth. You as an individual, but also you, the grade. We'd love to share with you the story about how you and your grade will grow on our 4-year journey program. The 9th grade journey is all about grade bonding, spending time together on a beautiful retreat center outside of LA, relaxing and getting to know who you are, building on the semester you've already shared, but also forming more friendships and widening your circle. Many 9th graders come back from the journey feeling like a shift has happened. Before, you had a handful of good friends, but after, you're friends with the whole grade. You and your class will be on a 4-year journey together, so this adventure ensures that the mutual support, kindness, and understanding can take root and flourish. Now you're in 10th grade. Your grade has really grown close. You're comfortable at JCHS, so what better time to visit the Stretch Zone? We head down to Zion National Park for a week of canyoneering, rappelling, and hiking. The 10th grade journey is wildly popular. Many years later, JCHS graduates say this journey helped them understand how truly special their grade is and how it gave them tools to tackle challenges later in life. In 11th grade, you feel truly at home at JCHS. So off we go to explore that other home, Israel, home of the Jewish people. There we connect to the land and the sites, but also we learn from the people who live in this complex democracy. Through meetings and conversations with leaders and activists, you see the many ways they engage with and struggle with Israel. If the 10th grade is about pushing your personal comfort zone, this journey is about pushing your envelope to hold competing truths in mind, to think critically, even about emotional topics, and to widen your understanding about what it means to be Jewish in the 21st century. By the spring of 12th grade, you're getting ready to leave the comfort and familiarity of home, and you're thinking about the principles that can inspire, guide, and shape your own choices, while becoming aware of the responsibility you have to the world beyond your own circle. To explore this, we travel to New Orleans, a city that tells a story of resilience in the face of great adversity. During our trip, you'll do hands-on service projects, meet with organizers, do oral histories, and explore one of the most culturally rich cities in the country. And now, having completed 4 years of our journey program, from grade bonding in LA, to pushing the comfort zone in Zion, to expanding the mind and spirit in Israel, to asking about one's place amongst the families of the earth, you're ready for the greatest journey to come, heading out into the world to create your own pathways.
EverLab is a design space where students work in teams to construct projects that explore the themes and big ideas from their courses. The space is super flexible, and the EverLab furniture and tools can be hacked to make it work for team brainstorming sessions, project pitches, and large group presentations. Each year, you'll work on an EverLab project, exploring one aspect of a course creatively, in a way that you choose. Your EverLab project may be part chemistry, biology, history, or Tanakh, and your project will allow you to choose how you want to show what you've learned. In 9th grade, you start with the basics of design, a set of skills that are great for problem solving and creative thinking. You work in a team practicing brainstorming, prototyping, and most importantly, giving and receiving feedback, all to improve the game you're creating. To think like a game designer, you play lots of games, test out your game on each other, and consult with professional game designers who join us in EverLab. EverLab tasks become increasingly challenging each year. Your projects in 10th and 11th grade encourage you to seek feedback from your peers, JCHS teachers, and professionals outside of JCHS. Each year, you're refining the team and design skills you need to be successful in your senior year. Your final EverLab project is your senior keystone. You'll pick any topic that excites you, anything that you've been longing to study, or something you've been into for a while. Your extended project will take you outside of the building, talking with experts, conducting interviews, doing research, and producing a body of work that shows the depth and length of your study. You do this with the support of your advisor and a Keystone team of your peers. Itai built a tiny house to address homelessness in San Francisco. For some people, Keystone is learning something completely new, and for others, it's refining a skill you already have and discovering new ways to share it with the community. The goal is to stretch. As you can see in this picture, Joseph took his beekeeping to another level when he arranged for an internship with an expert who moves beehives to better, safer places. So as you can see, from 9th grade game design to 12th grade, where the sky's the limit, EverLab is about helping you explore the world through problem solving, through collaboration, and by designing a pathway of your own choosing. EverLab prepares you for the next steps in life, not just skills for now, but skills forever.
JCHS signature programs will challenge and affirm who you are, help you to explore individual choice and passion, build connections to adults outside of JCHS and across cultures. After 4 years of JCHS signature programs, you will be many more things than you are today. More adventurous, more independent, more able to connect to new people and new ideas, and yet with our dedication to self-exploration, you will be even more you. We can't wait to meet more you at JCHS. If you have any questions about JCHS signature programs, we look forward to meeting you in the breakout room.
The EverLab's so fun. I want to be a student at JCHS. So many of you have told us that you want to meet our students and hear from them about our community. And many of you have met some of our student ambassadors at our weekly Wolf Wednesdays. And now you're going to get to meet with some of our awesome ambassadors, as well as our Dean of College and Gap Year Advising, Ms. Lauren Cook.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tickton. My name is Lauren Cook. I am the Dean of College and Gap Year Advising at JCHS, and we are not going to talk about college today, but we are going to talk with some of the students that I'm currently working with on their college plans. So we've got a great panel here of current students at JCHS, and I'm going to ask them a couple of questions about their experience, but we're going to start with some introductions so you can all know who is in the room here. So I'm going to go around and call on each of you for you to introduce yourself. And it'd be great if you could share your name, what grade you're in, what middle school you went to before you came to JCHS, and maybe just tell us a couple of the things you're involved with at JCHS. So why don't we start with Sarah Wilkes?
Hi, my name is Sarah Wilkes. I'm a senior here at JCHS. I went to Brandeis Marin. And some things I'm involved with at JCHS is I'm involved in the theater department. I'm a student ambassador. I'm editor of the school's newspaper, The Observer, and I'm editor of the yearbook.
She's very busy, folks. So now let's toss it to Rachel Heimowitz, who we also just tend to call Rymo.
Hello, I'm Rymo. I'm a senior and I went to Brandeis, San Francisco. I'm involved in theater tech and I've played volleyball and I'm on Knesset.
Thanks so much. Nicole.
Hi, my name is Nicole Tuckfeld. I am currently a junior and I went to Aptos Middle School from SF, and I was involved in sports like tennis and volleyball, and I am currently a club leader for a Glee Club.
Great. Levi.
Hi, I'm Levi Ike. I'm a senior at JCHS and I went to Oakland Hebrew Day School, and I'm really involved in theater, and I'm the chair of Fashion with Compassion, which is our yearly fashion show, and I'm the head of marketing on The Observer.
Terrific. Felix.
Hi, my name is Felix Gutowski. I'm a senior. I went to St. Finbar, and a few things I'm involved is I've been cross-country leader and I'm barbecue club leader.
Great. And then Aiden, bring us home.
Hi, my name's Aiden Swan. I'm a senior and I attended Brandeis SF, and I'm currently on Knesset, which is our student government, which is really exciting. I'm serving as one of our regime, which is class president. I've played basketball for the past 4 years, and I'm currently on the student athlete advisory committee, which is great.
Aiden is also a fabulous photographer. All right, so let's get into some questions about JCHS. We know that prospective students have a lot of choices for high school, in San Francisco in particular. So I would love it if folks could just talk a little bit about what's unique about JCHS. So does anyone want to take that? Yeah, Raimo, I see your hand first.
I think one of the things that's most unique about JCHS is that because it's such a small school, everybody really knows everybody. And so when you get involved in any extracurricular, you get to meet so many people across so many like grades and people you would never meet otherwise because you might not have classes with them. And I think that's an experience you don't get at other schools.
Nice. Other folks, Levi.
Yes, I agree with all that. And one thing that I think is really unique about JCHS is how they really embrace pluralism. And like there's always an option in every kind of Jewish practice or any Jewish thing at the school that fits basically everyone. And like I personally had different phases while I've been at JCHS where I've been interested in different Jewish rituals and stuff. And there's always been something that's made me feel really comfortable. And I think most of the student body shares that experience as well.
Awesome, thank you. Nicole.
I would also like to add on what Raimo and Levi said, and about the education, that the teachers are always so there for you and they always like care. They want you to succeed, so they will spend extra time with you if you need it to like make sure you're understanding everything that we're learning in class.
Awesome. And I'm missing very much the live ability to do this panel because our students are all snapping, which is what we do at school when we agree with something, right? So as you're seeing that on your screen, even though we're muted on Zoom, there is some sense of community here. So let's go on to the next question. As some of your answers noted, we're a Jewish school. And so what does that mean? We do have some required Jewish studies classes. And so I'm wondering if anyone could talk a little bit about how some of the JS curriculum have helped you or related to work in other classes. So Felix.
Some ways Jewish class has helped me with my work is it's giving me a new perspective on how to do work and how to research for work and how to like stack together my work and how to research for different topics in different ways than other classes have taught me.
Excellent. Now, Sarah.
So when I look back at just all the Jewish studies classes I've taken at JCHS, I realized that when you're reading these Jewish texts, there's a lot of different things that can be analyzed and interpreted in different ways. And I think that's really helped me a lot, specifically in English classes. When you're reading literature, it can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. And I think reading those Jewish texts has kind of opened that gateway to further help me interpret a bunch of different things I'm reading. And that definitely improves writing skills when you're writing a book about an essay about some sort of book. I know it's definitely helped me a lot.
Great. Aiden, yeah.
A lot of my JS classes have kind of been in a seminar format where we can get lost in deep class discussions and debates. And it really just creates a collaborative atmosphere amongst the students, which we can bring to our other classes.
Excellent. And yeah, Nicole, I saw your hand.
It also like teaches Jewish value on how to ask questions and how to like give good feedback. And I've found it really helpful in like pretty much all my classes, where like I could ask good questions for a teacher and like it just works out.
Fabulous. Thank you all for that. All right, so we're going to do a lightning round here, meaning I want to hear from everyone. We know that students come in from all over the Bay to go to JCHS, and so some of our prospective students might have questions about, well, how do I get to school? What are the commutes like? So I would love if each one could say just how you get to school when we are going to school and commuting. So why don't we start with Felix?
I usually bike 30 miles to school.
All right, Aiden.
Pre-pandemic, I usually get to school through a carpool with kids from my neighborhood.
Sarah.
Also pre-pandemic, I would take the Marin shuttle.
Great. Raimo.
My mom drives me.
I love it. Levi.
In the morning, I take the East Bay shuttle, and then to get home, I take either a bus or BART.
Okay. And Nicole.
I would take public transportation in San Francisco.
All right, so we got the whole range of things here. You learn good independent skills with this commute, and I find that there can be some really good college essays that come out of these adventures. So like other schools, as we've noted here, JCHS has had to move to distance learning for a lot of 2020. So I'm curious to know what kind of creativity all of you have seen either from the professional community at the school or each other as you run clubs and all of that. So does anyone want to talk about distance learning creativity? Yeah, Levi.
I definitely would say that the theater department has adapted really well to the new coronavirus circumstances. Like, rather than having just a play on Zoom, which the people involved in the theater department didn't feel like would be as fulfilling, we've had a bunch of different workshops every week that totally have been like interesting to wide ranges of students. We've had Yiddish theater and drag and dance classes and acting and singing, and it's just super interesting, and it's really well taught, and there's like professionals brought from outside of the school as well as people who work at the school who are just as good, of course. And yes, that's been adapted really well.
Love it. Thank you. Yeah, Raimo.
One thing that I think is a core value of JCHS, because it's in the name, is community. And I think one way they've really adapted is that we still have like great bonding time in ways that we normally have in school, like the journey.
Love it. And Aiden, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, just to add to Raimo, although obviously we're going through difficult and unprecedented times right now, one thing I've really noticed is that JCHS has really made an effort to kind of go above and beyond with events and everything they do right now, just to kind of compensate for not having that in-person experience. I think it just makes whatever we do, classes, programs, assemblies, sports workouts, whatever it may be, it kind of just makes everything better and more meaningful for us. So that's something I appreciated.
That's terrific. And I'll also give a little answer to this one too. We had a virtual graduation in June, and I think it was really fun. We had a really celebratory time. And I think that video is still up on our website. So if anyone wants to see how we approach graduation, I think it was pretty unique. So let's do another lightning round. We haven't been to Ellis Street for a while, so would love to know what part of campus each of you misses the most. So why don't we start with Sarah?
I really like sitting outside, especially during lunch, and there's just this one area where people can sit and have their lunch or do work, whatever, and there's this tree that has a lot of shade, and it's just really pretty, and it makes it really enjoyable to just sit around in a circle with your friends and be doing whatever it is you're doing. I really miss that.
Excellent, thanks. Nicole?
I miss the commons. You'll probably see it once you actually visit, but it's pretty much where we all eat lunch, and like brings a sense of community. So, because the teachers also eat with us. So.
Nice. Felix?
The place I miss most in JCHS is probably on the second floor, the little cubicle. It's just very private and very quiet, so you have a lot of time to do work and just relax.
Great. Raimo?
I miss the hallways. I miss like saying hi to people and like just running into people you don't normally see.
Great. Aiden?
For me, I honestly really miss having teachers' offices at my disposal. Oftentimes I'll be walking by the office of one of my teachers and I'll pop in to say hi, and it turns into some great 20-minute conversation about life because, JCHS teachers really care about how you're doing in the classroom, but also outside. So that's definitely something I miss.
Levi?
Yeah, I would say the front office probably, because I always love to see like shadows and prospective students and families, and just any visitors to the school are usually there, and I really like the environment.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so the last question I wanted to ask each of you about is extracurriculars, and we're still doing those, even though we're in pandemic times here. So if you could tell us about one of your favorites, either that you're currently involved with or that you were doing, before the pandemic hit. So anyone want to tell us? Sarah, yeah.
So personally, I really love all the clubs that I'm involved with or I have been involved with in the past at JCHS, and then also the theater department. I think they're both places where I've met And it's a great opportunity to meet people outside of your grade, whether they're older than you, younger than you, whatever. And I know I've made some of my best friends that even have graduated JCHS, and I'm still close with them. And if had I not been a part of the theater department, I know I wouldn't have been able to make that friendship with people. And I definitely think it can be really kind of scary to be needed to, when you're a freshman, to have to talk with an upperclassman. But I think when you're in a club or some sort of organization like the theater department, it really enables you to make those friendships that you wouldn't normally have made maybe if you weren't in those clubs and organizations.
Terrific. Anyone else? Yeah, Aiden.
As I said earlier, I've played basketball here for the past 4 years. And, basketball is a huge part of my life, but playing varsity basketball here has really taught me so much more than the game. It's taught me how to work with others, how to face and overcome adversity. And it's also helped me form lifelong relationships. And some of those relationships are with people from my grade, and then some of them are younger, older. Some of the kids who were older on the team from when I was a freshman are now some of my best friends today. So I don't know, just one extracurricular has really given me all these relationships from all these different areas. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, Levi.
One extracurricular that I really enjoy is Fashion with Compassion, which I mentioned earlier. It's like a student-run fashion show where we get a bunch of brands to donate clothes to us, and then all the proceeds from tickets and like selling the clothing goes to charity. And that's really fun also because you get to meet a lot of people from other grades and spend time with them and make friends. And also it just is a really great way to like use a lot of different skills because it's just a big thing that needs so many different aspects. So there's a lot of committees that fit pretty much everyone can find something that fits for them. And there's a lot of networking opportunities and just a lot of different skills that can be used. And I think it's a really fun thing.
Awesome. And Raima, we'll let you have the last word here.
Yeah, something I think the JCHS extracurricular program is really, really good at is that it provides leadership opportunities. Like I lead the environmental club, but also I think most meaningfully, I was the first ever student costume designer at JCHS. And that was just like a thing I was really interested in. And they were like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yes. And I just think the fact that we were able to like create this position for me was so like meaningful.
I love it. Well, thank you all for taking time to do another Zoom in our Zoom world. It was really great to hear from all of you. And we'll wrap it up there, and I will pass it off to Ms. Tickton.
These kids make me feel so proud to be part of our JCHS community. Thank you, Lauren, and thank you to our student ambassadors. We're in the home stretch, and now I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Howard Jacoby Rubin, our head of school, who's going to talk to you about our extraordinary education.
Thank you to my colleagues and our students who shared so much about JCHS with you. As you've heard from them, our educational philosophy is impactfully progressive and student-centered, yet steeped in the rich traditions of academic and professional excellence, all brought to life through a purposeful, values-oriented community. Let me bring an example from the Torah reading cycle that recently started, as it does every year at this season, all over again from the beginning. The first story includes creation. The second story includes Noah's Ark. These are very different stories, occurring generations apart, encompassing different narrative themes, and yet they share a common, powerful element. Each story features a single word, repeated 7 times to amplify its theme. In the first story, the story of creation, the word is good, tov, and it's used 7 times. And the second, the word that's used 7 times is covenant, or brit. The first story is about the goodness embodied in each of us. Each of us created in the divine image. Each of us can find that which is uniquely good and worthy in ourselves. In other words, the world was created for the sake of the good in each of us. The second story is about the covenants, the relationships, and the interdependence among all of us. All of us in idealized relationships with others are encouraged to find the best in others even when, especially when, they're different from our own. In other words, the world was created for the sake of others. But wait, was the world created for my sake or for the sake of others? They seem to conflict, but they don't really. Rather, they live in dynamic tension. The genius of Judaism is that while each of these values is necessary, neither is sufficient. We need that first value to avoid becoming victims of our own altruism, and we need that second value to avoid becoming victims of our own egos. Striking the right balance between these values is the journey of a lifetime. High school is a powerful opportunity to extend that journey, especially now when the COVID pandemic has been, for many of us, battering our sense of self and our capacity to thrive in community. These values are more important than ever. At JCHS, we work hard to make both values real in the lives of our students and our professionals. These values are real in the deep student-centered focus of our talented educators and in the empathy we cultivate through 4 years with each student. As we say at JCHS, a trip transports you while a journey transforms you. We know you have lots of terrific choices in the Bay Area for an excellent high school education. We'd be honored to have you join us at JCHS for a journey inspired by these values. And this open house is just one opportunity to learn more about the JCHS journey. In a moment, we'll be inviting you to ask questions directly in a number of specific breakout rooms. And if you still have more questions after that, please join us for one of our Wolf Wednesday weekly admissions events, or reach out to any member of our admissions team so we can answer your specific questions. We're so grateful that you spent today with us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Rubin. Thank you for continuing to guide us and teach us. It's truly a pleasure to work alongside you and our entire professional community. You, our board of directors, Michael Brody, and our leadership teams continue to guide us and help JCHS grow and improve. Thank you. So this wraps up the presentation part of our program. It's been a pleasure being your MC today, and we hope you've learned more about JCHS and that you continue to ask great questions. You can do so at our weekly Wolf Wednesday events, and we encourage you to register for them on Ravenna. We'd love to see you. So as many of us have mentioned today, we will soon open up our breakout rooms, and you'll be able to chat live with some of our JCHS teachers and student ambassadors. And we're going to give you a short break right now as we open up those rooms. So for those of you who haven't already done so, now's a good time to update your Zoom. If you're already updated, you're good to go. It's not mandatory, but it will enable you to choose which breakout room you want to go to. And it only takes a second. So we will see you back here in 2 minutes. Welcome back. Hopefully you've received one of these JCHS brochures in the mail. If not, be on the lookout. It's coming soon. So we're about to open up the breakout rooms. You'll see there are 7 choices: humanities, science, math,
Jewish Studies, Signature Programs, Visual and Performing Arts, Athletics, and World Languages. In each room, there are educators and students ready to chat with you and answer your questions about their programs. So feel free to chat and unmute yourself in these breakouts. Some quick instructions. It's easy for you to navigate from room to room. If you have the most recent version of Zoom, simply click on the 4 square icon and you'll be able to select the room of your choice. And once you click on the 4 square icon, you will see the various rooms and how many participants are in each. And by hovering over the number of people in the room, you will see the number change to join. Then click on join and you will be brought to that room. Once in a breakout room, you can move to other rooms by hovering over the leave room icon at the bottom, but just be sure that you don't click on leave meeting. If you have general questions, Rabbi Reuben, Mary Ellen, and I will stay in this main room to talk with you. And also, if you have any trouble, just come back to this main room and we'll be happy to help you out. Enjoy talking with everyone.